It's been too long since we made a video on college hockey, so here are the Hockey East arenas. Conte Forum, also known as Kelly Rink when it's in hockey mode. It's named after John Kelly, a former coach. It's home to the Boston College Eagles. You probably noticed that this venue is attached to the school's football stadium. They weren't built concurrently as you might assume. The arena actually opened over 30 years after the football stadium did. Some alterations were made to the football stadium during the arena's construction though. That's why it looks so cohesive. Interestingly, some of the luxury suites actually get a view of both the football field and the rink. Much like the football stadium, the seating layout in here rises along the sidelines and lowers behind the end zones, so to speak. But unlike the football stadium, it includes a mix of chairback seats and backless seats. Staying in Boston, we have Ganis Arena, home of the Boston University Terriers. This venue was built on the site of Commonwealth Armory, a beautiful old building that was demolished in 2002. I do kinda wish it was converted into an arena, as many armories have been. It looks big enough, but I'm sure there were good reasons why it wasn't. A cool idea, but probably a bit of a headache. Kinda like these things. This place has a similar capacity to Kelly Rink, but it's not attached to a football stadium, so minus 10 points to the Terriers. Well, actually, the Boston University doesn't have a proper football team anymore, so fair enough. Not much to say about the interior other than it's clean, sleek, symmetrical, modern, and well equipped. Toscano Family Ice Forum, Yukon Huskies. Having opened in early 2023, this is the newest arena in the conference. Its sharp, metallic and glass exterior looks stunning. When it comes to arenas, I very much agree with Pink Floyd. Let there be more light. Thankfully, those windows are visible from the seating bowl itself. They not only let in light, but offer a little bit of a view out to the campus. Not much of one though. Their previous home didn't meet Hockey East requirements, so they played at XL Center in Hartford until this place was built. They went from XL to small, but I'm sure they're glad to play here now. Not only is it on campus, but it's much more appropriately sized. On average, there were around 11,000 empty seats at XL Center. Harold Alfond Sports Arena, Maine Black Bears. Harold Alfond is one of the rare people that has both the school's football stadium and arena named after him. He has donated a lot of money to the school over the years. And he won't stop until every building on campus is named after him. Nah, he's no longer with us. Anyway, I remember from when I talked about Villanova's arena, that this particular shape of roof is called a hyperbolic paraboloid? Hyperbolic paraboloid? That sounds right. Something like that. Either way, it looks great. As does the arena as a whole. And the roof certainly hasn't stopped them from having a center hung video board, as is sometimes the case with these funky roofs. Mullins Center, UMass Minutemen. Not only does this place have the largest capacity in the conference, it also has its own little version of itself next door. That one contains a community rink for the community. Both buildings have that typical baseball aesthetic. Red brick facades and a green roof. It works with hockey and basketball arenas as well, of course. Despite the slightly larger capacity, it still has a single-tiered seating layout, which is no bad thing. An uninterrupted wall of Minutemen fans should make for a strong home field advantage, or home ice advantage I guess you'd call it. Including in 2021 when it hosted the Hockey East tournament final, which was won by the Minutemen. There was no crowd due to COVID, but still, the thought of there being a crowd manifested itself. Situated in the Merrimack Valley, right by the Merrimack River, is Songer Center, home to the Minutemen's opponent in that game, UMass Lowell Riverhawks. The amenities of this place seem to be on point, but the design is very straightforward, so there's not much to report on that front. Perhaps the most interesting tidbit about this arena is that it has spent some time on the silver screens of Hollywood. Some scenes from a Mark Wahlberg movie called The Fighter were filmed in here. Now, I'm not much of a movie person, but I assume that was the one where he beat up the Vietnamese people. Was it that one? But yeah, I just don't watch movies anymore. My attention span is... Where are we? Who's next? J. Tom Lawler Arena, Merrimack Warriors. This whole building is known as the Merrimack Athletics Complex, the MAC for short. Lawler Arena is the one on the north. Tom Lawler was not only the winningest coach in Merrimack hockey history, but also a veteran of the Korean War, so he was certainly a worthy person to name an arena after. You know, because if the communists took control of the entire Korean peninsula, the K in K-pop would stand for Kim, and all the singers would be middle-aged fat men with the same haircut. I talked about roofs that don't allow for center-hung video boards earlier. I think this might be one of them. It's very low. However, that lack in ceiling height adds to the coziness of the place. Whittemore Center, New Hampshire Wildcats. I've got to say I love the exterior of this building. It is for the most part just bare concrete, but some of it is covered in ivy or vines of some description, and other sections are made from glass blocks. You don't see that too often. Retro vibes. The interior is a lot more conventional. In fact, it looks almost identical to some that we've already seen in this video. So once more, I guess I'll point out an odd little fact about its history. During the pandemic, this became the home of the New Hampshire House of Representatives. Well, the hockey field just outside the arena was.
All in favor, please raise your sticks. The nays have it. Pineapple on pizza will not become a criminal offense.
Ridiculous.
We return to Boston to take a look at Matthews Arena, home of the Northeastern Huskies. That's the second team called the Huskies that we've seen so far, and I like that they haven't been vicious looking Huskies. Yukon was a happy looking dog, whereas this guy is striking a very dignified pose. It's like he knows what he's capable of, he's got sharp teeth and a powerful jaw, but he doesn't have to show it. It mightn't look it, but Matthews Arena is one of the most important venues in college hockey history. In fact, hockey history in general, as it's the oldest hockey arena in the world, having opened way back in 1910. It was the original home of the Boston Bruins. Back in those days it was called Boston Arena, and there was just one tier of seating. The original building was actually partially destroyed by a fire, but they rebuilt it in 1921, and enough of the original structure remained for it to be considered the same arena. Otherwise it wouldn't be the oldest. Schneider Arena, Providence Friars. This is a team with a religious related name, and they've named their arena after a reverend. Of course, religious schools tend to treat their reverends with a lot of reverence. But Herman Schneider was more than just a reverend. He was the founder of the school's hockey program. So he was treated with more reverence than any old reverend. And so they named their arena after him. He also went on to found a famous brand of pretzel snacks. Probably. I mean, it could have been another Schneider, but what are the chances of that? Anyway, this is an old arena that's been kept up to date over the years. The same could be said for Goddison Fieldhouse, home to the Vermont Catamounts. I'm gonna assume that this place is nicknamed the Gut. If not, it really should be. It's an elongated half-barrel shaped arena, but not only is it shaped like a barrel, it's also made of wood, as barrels often are. And that's fitting because Vermont famously has many trees. Some of them even secrete a sweet syrup. I personally never eat pancakes without a good helping of pine syrup. Yes, that's right, pine syrup. Don't let its toxicity put you off. The flavor can't be beat. This place has a strange claim to fame. It hosted the first women's hockey game to be televised, a game between the US and Canada in 1997. The North American team came out on top on this occasion. 1997 does seem fairly late. I mean, that's almost unbelievable. This was just 26 years after women gained the right to vote. In Switzerland. and those were the Hockey East arenas. As for my favourite, I was tempted to choose the Guts or the Matthews, but I'm going to go for something at the opposite end of the spectrum, Toscano Family Ice Forum. I know that'll be considered blasphemous because history and that, but this is sleek, sharp, bright, airy, etc. Also, I think I already blasphemed when talking about the reverends. Thanks for watching, have a good one.